Good evening, Booktube. Tonight I'm going to do the Booktube Newbie Tag because even though I have been making Booktube videos since 2020 and even earlier actually, maybe 2018, I feel I haven't properly introduced myself, so here I am with this Booktube Newbie Tag. So here we go. I'm not gonna take too long on introductions. Let's just begin right away. So prompt number 1: why did you start this channel? It's complicated. I actually have an older channel where I talked about all kinds of things like politics and religion, and I had some travel videos on it as well. And then I got burned out. Politics and religion gives you a lot of grief. So I said, okay, no more videos. And so I stopped making videos on that channel. And then for some reason, Google had automatically created a second channel for me with this one. I don't know how that came about, but apparently I have 2 channels. I started uploading videos about books on this channel. But in the last channel, it was already headed in that direction. I started talking about books even then. There are actually 2 videos that I re-uploaded onto this channel from the last one, from the older channel. So it was an evolution. And when I started making videos about books, I didn't realize there was an entire Booktube community. In my last, on my older channel, I didn't realize how big the Booktube community actually was, or actually is. So that's how this channel came about. And why do I make videos? Because I feel I have an opinion that's of value to at least a handful of people on planet Earth. And I'm passionate about books. I love talking about books. My hometown and my family are not very enthusiastic readers. My dad is to some extent, but he's more focused on science magazines, not on novels, like I am. So I have very few people who are enthusiastic book readers that I know of in real life. That's why I'm here. Okay. Prompt number 2. What are some fun and unique things you can bring to Booktube? I like to think that I show books that not a lot of Booktubers talk about. Unique books. And I offer a unique opinion on many things. Like there are a lot of things people don't talk about that I say, what about this angle? What about that angle? And I sometimes, and people have sometimes called me a walking encyclopedia. I give out random facts that not a lot of people knew about. So I might point out some unique things about certain books and certain authors that other Booktubers might not have talked about at first. So that's interesting. So that's what I can offer. A unique perspective, and offering some to show you some books that not a lot of Booktubers talk about. All right, prompt number 3. What are you most excited for about this new channel? It's not new, but I'm excited about making connections. I'm excited about people who making friendships with people solely based on books. That I hope to make. Yeah, I hope to develop some really great friendships over time, and Booktubers are very friendly. A lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them are very accessible to their viewers, to their subscribers. They try to make themselves available and answer as many questions and are as interactive with their fans as possible, as they possibly can. So that's cool. So I'm excited to build relationships because I'm actually in real life, I'm actually a very lonely man. Even though I'm married with children, not a lot of people understand me very much. I have Asperger's, by the way. Okay. Prompt number 4. What book or series got you into reading? I've always been into reading since school. I used to look at picture books in the library, and I didn't actually enjoy it, but our classes would do read-alongs, and everyone would get a copy of the same book and we would read it. I didn't have fun doing that, but one book that is my all-time favorite book that I pulled out from the bookshelves at my mother's home that really hooked me, and it's my all-time favorite book, I think I said that, is Eiji Yoshikawa's Musashi. This is such beautiful literature that I constantly am on the search for a book that can beat this one. So far, nothing yet. But this is what got me. This is the book that got me into reading. I love this book so much. A lot of books came close, but they cannot beat this one. So once I found this beautiful piece of literature, I just had to find something better. So far, nothing yet. So yes, Eiji Yoshikawa's Musashi, which is a historical fiction book set in 1600s Japan. Okay. Prompt number 5. What questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? I don't think you'd want to know. Here. Is my political persuasions offensive to you? Because on my old YouTube channel, which was not about books, mostly, I express a lot of my politics and my ideas about religion in it. Is that a deal breaker? And are you reserved about going there into those sensitive areas? Because there are certain books like that talk about dystopias, for instance, or even nonfiction books where talking about politics is unavoidable, or talking about religion is unavoidable. So would my political and religious persuasions be a deal breaker to developing friendships? I don't know. That would be my question. Yes. Prompt number 6. What challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? Oh, that's easy. That's easy. Establishing networks and establishing and monetizing this channel, as well as sending, and like I said, establishing networks. Like if I wanted to send a book via mail to another booktuber I liked, or if I wanted to receive one, because my house doesn't actually have a house number. And I live in an obscure corner of Indonesia. So establishing networks with other booktubers is going to be very, very, very difficult. And maybe also in the future, it's also going to be difficult to set up reading goals and then and then go through with them. Like, I won't, like a book buying ban, like TBRs. I I don't know if I can keep up with those goals. But that won't be as hard as setting up networking amongst other booktubers. That's going to be very, very difficult for me. But we'll see what happens. Prompt number 7. When did you start reading? I think I said this earlier. I've been reading since I've been in school. I've always liked the library. I was a real loner as a kid in school. So ever since my primary school days, I spent recess all the time in the library. It was a quiet place. Those books you handle that you flip open. My parents and my friends gave me books for my birthdays, since childhood. That's when I started reading. And like I said earlier, I think I said this earlier, my teachers had us, our teachers had us do read-alongs in class. I didn't enjoy those, but they were a push in the right direction. So now looking back, I'm actually grateful that we did those read-alongs. Even though sometimes we read books that weren't my particular taste. Motorcycle. Okay. Where do you read? Indoors, I usually read on my bed because I like lying down and reading. So it's usually in bed that I read, not in an armchair. But and also I always carry a book everywhere I go with me. So whether that be to work, whether that be to the mall, I often read at cafes. I often read at cafes, at coffee shops, and so on. And at malls, I usually read as my wife browses through clothing when she's shopping for stuff, you know. So I read everywhere. When I'm on the move, I'm reading, and when I'm in the car, if it's not on a twisting road, if it's a straight highway, I have my book flipped open. I'll be reading it. I also am quite fond of reading outdoors, so I like reading on my front porch, in the yard, or reading in a park. I love reading outside. I love reading outside. So I read all over the place. My favorite, of course, would be in a park or on the porch, looking over my yard. Yeah. What kind of books do you like to read? Prompt number 9. I have a soft spot for science fiction and political thrillers, political thrillers that include things like espionage. I love spy thrillers. I love political thrillers. Books like authors like Robert Ludlum. I love those. And what was I saying again? Oh yeah, I also love science fiction, especially subgenres within science fiction, like dystopias or space empires. Okay, and I have read a decent amount of fantasy, but I wouldn't say it's my absolute favorite. Yeah. People don't have any respect here with those motorcycles. They adjust those exhaust pipes to make them extra noisy because they like to show off their powerful machines, even though they're just regular motorcycles. Those stupid kids. And the cops don't enforce the law here. Don't enforce the no modifying exhaust pipe laws. Yeah, that's a real problem here. Anyway, that's a tangent, but that's just me apologizing for those bratty kids who like to do motorbike racing late at night. And finally, prompt number 10. What does your book collection look like? Chaotic. I organize it in terms of genre and authors and series. So I have them all in order. So I have one rack for religion, I have one rack for series, and I have another rack on top for everything else, but it's all also organized by author. But in the series, sometimes I don't. The books are not matching because sometimes I buy books from different print runs, so then the covers are not consistent. My bookshelf is not very pretty. You don't want to see it. But it's got a lot of books of various different kinds of books. I actually have a lot of cult propaganda and religious stuff. I used to be fascinated by world religions, but the more I read, the more I realized they're all saying the same nonsense about faith, how faith is a virtue. So, I'm sorry, religious people, if that offends you. Okay, that's me, William. I hope we will get to know each other in the months and years to come. Good night.